Hey, yo. MOM Radio and the Pipe Bomb Radio Network presents Not Your Mama's Radio Show with your hosts, former WWE Superstars and two men that are always on a mission, Oscar and Sir Mo.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Not Your Mama's Radio Show, and your hosts for tonight, Oscar and Sir Mo. Welcome, guys.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Doing good. Glad we're ready for another show tonight, and after last week, I think that we set the bar pretty high. You guys set the bar pretty high last week with Vince and Brian. I loved that show. That was so much fun.
We do what we can. Thanks a lot. How's your week?
Been busy. I'm curious to find out how you guys' week is going.
Nobody wants to know how my week has been. Oh,
well,
borderline suicidal. You know.
Understood.
It's been crazy. Man.
I believe you.
I lost quite a few friends this week, too, on Facebook.
What's that?
I lost quite a few friends on Facebook this week.
Well, you know what? If they're willing to believe that the BS that has been said, then maybe you're better off without them.
They were never your friends in the first place.
Exactly. There you go. But you know, we do have a good show lined up tonight. We have former WWE Superstar Ezekiel Jackson. He was an Intercontinental Champion and also the last recognized ECW Champion.
Okay.
Well,
and he should be calling in here in just a little bit.
And
as we promoted as well, Oscar and Mo will both have a response that they both want to share about what's been going on with the allegations that have been coming out from Cassandra Frazier, the widow of Nelson. And we'll get we'll get all that in this next hour and a half, 2 hours, however long we can go. I don't know if that's enough time, but we'll definitely do our best.
How long before Ezekiel calls in?
He should be calling in here shortly. I did tell him to call in to kick it off, so that would leave us the rest of the show to chat amongst ourselves. But in the meantime, will Mimi be joining us tonight?
No, Mimi had a tooth pulled, and she's not doing too well. She can't talk. So she's got the week off. We wish her a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. We won't have a Raw report this week. We'll definitely miss that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
She's a big part of the show.
But that doesn't mean we still can't talk about it.
Talk amongst yourself for just a moment. I will be right back.
Hey, Felix.
Yes, sir. I'm still here. Go ahead.
If you get a call, from an 864 number.
Okay.
That's my brother. He's really listening in on the show. But if you do get a call, go ahead and put him through.
You got it. I believe I have a caller calling in right now. I'm just going to screen that call real quick. I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay. What's up, O?
How you been, Mo?
Man, it's been crazy, man. I lost a friend for 15 years today, man.
He wasn't really your friend, now was he?
Well, no. Listen, this wasn't about the Cassandra thing, man. I just have this thing. I have this thing with my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
If you say something negative or you share something negative about Obama, I'm deleting folks, man. I'm deleting folks, man. It's just here's my thing, you know.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know that he is calling in. That's actually former WWE Superstar Ezekiel Jackson. His name is Ricklon Stevens, so I'm going to bring him on now.
Okay.
Mr. Stevens, you are live on the air with Mo and Oscar have been on a mission.
What's up, man? What's up?
Good, man.
How you doing?
And I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm doing really good.
Oh, okay, man. It is an honor for you to be on the show with us. I've never had the pleasure to meet you, but I have followed your career. It is very, very impressive. I can't wait to get into it. First off, let us know how you're doing and what you've been doing.
Say that again?
How you doing and what you've been doing?
Currently, I've been acting again, back in L.A. doing the acting thing, which is what I did before I got signed. And I got some new stuff coming up within the next couple of weeks that you guys got to keep an ear open for.
Right.
Can't talk too much about it yet.
Gotcha.
Now, have you been active on the independent scene since you left WWE?
I've done a couple of signings and maybe one match since I've been away from the WWE, but I've been just focused more on the acting stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
go ahead.
Okay. We always ask everybody to rewind the clock. Who formally trained you, and how did you even get into wrestling?
I started, first of all, I was a fan. I came from a third world country, Guyana, South America, where, you know, one day looking through a neighbor's window is when the first time I saw wrestling, because we didn't have our own TV.
Okay.
And when I came to this country in 1989, you know, I was hooked on wrestling. It was Saturday morning Superstar, Sunday Worldwide, freaking WCW and TBS. So anything wrestling related I was watching growing up. A friend of mine, Prince Nana, from ROH, invited me to his first show that he did at Johnny Rod's, and I was hooked. I was like, I could do this. But my mom was very adamant because I was going to be the first one and possibly the only one of her children to go to college. She was like, at least give me that, you know what I mean? Do the 4 years, and after that, if you still want to wrestle, wrestle. I graduated in 2000 from University of Buffalo, took the LSATs and was ready to go to law school. And then I met Teddy the Tank, used to be 4x4 for WCW, No Limit Soldiers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me about a school in Brooklyn, which was the Doghouse, LIWF. And I went there, and after the first night of bumps, I was like, I'm ready for this. So, you know, I was trained with Homicide, trained with Low Key, trained with Leighton. Those were the guys that taught me the foundation of wrestling. How to run the ropes, bumps, you know, the stuff that you go through that people don't realize you have to do.
Right.
And that was the foundation.
Yeah, I was a Brooklyn boy myself. What part of Brooklyn? What part of Brooklyn did you live in?
I was raised in East New York.
Where at East New York, man?
Jersey Avenue, right next to Pennsylvania, and Liberty Avenue.
Okay, well, I am from Fort Greene, downtown Brooklyn, but on Nostrand Avenue in St. Mark's, we used to have a fabric store over there, right there in Bedford-Stuyvesant. So yeah, I know the area well.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's real cool. All right. So from there, how did you wind up being discovered by WWE?
I moved to LA in 2005, and I've been wrestling for a while. And I think it was at that time MySpace. I got contact from UPW. One of the guys' name was Anthony Rosers, and he's like, hey, come out, we got a show this weekend, come check it out, and we could talk from there. I went out, met Rick Bassman, met up with Anthony, and, you know, a couple of months later, they started a program where you weren't learn how to do promos. You had to go out to San Clemente, which was a 2-hour drive for me in the middle of the day. And on the weekends, I went and practiced at their place in El Segundo. And, Big Bill DeMont came out and saw us. I got a chance to go to the L.A. show, and that's where I met Johnny Ace. And they basically invited me up to Louisville for a tryout, for that 1-week tryout, and then I got signed. So within a 6-month period of going through UPW stuff, I got signed to the WWE. So
wow.
Yeah.
All right,
this was 5 years in the business already. I've been training since 2000. I got signed in 2007. So 7 years of doing the hustle.
All right, so now you're a star in WWE. The fanfare is on. What would you call some of your highlights during your tenure there?
My first night, the debut with me and Brian Kendrick was definitely a highlight for me because it's like, it's basically, look, Mom, on TV moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went on and, I had my first match and stuff like that, and he just kept on going with the, going to ECW and training and learning working with William Regal and Vladimir, then end up working with Christian and become the final ECW champion. Then I wrestled with the Core, then ended up challenging Wade and won the IC title. So, there's moments, in this business where there's peaks and valleys, and those three definitely stand out for me, winning the ECW championship, winning the IC title, and debuting.
Now, this is where the questions get a little difficult. Not just WWE itself, but during your role in the wrestling business, have you found a lot of lowlights, and have you, being African American, have you discovered any racism in the business? Because just about every African American who has ever wrestled or been in this business attest that they've experienced that one way or another. What is your take on it?
Maybe I probably just kept a blind eye to it. You know what I mean? Because first and foremost, I treat people how I expect to be treated. So is it something that's there? I'm sure it is. You hear the talk, you see the different things, but nobody ever blatantly came up and put something, came at me, maybe the fact that I was, 300 pounds of muscle, so I never got experienced it directly, but I'm sure something has happened somewhere that can be attested to.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, I would imagine that you're one of the fortunate ones, and God bless you. I'm glad about that. Mo, you got some questions for Ezekiel?
Yeah, I would. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man. How are you, bud?
Good, man. Good. Glad you're doing okay. I guess my question would be, and it's probably the same thing I would ask anybody that's ever worked WWE. What was the atmosphere like? Did it feel like every day, like going to work? Did you feel a lot of tension as far as guys worrying about keeping their jobs? Guys being happy or unhappy about not getting TV time. What was the atmosphere like?
It's a competition backstage, man. There's people that's going to be guaranteed on TV. Those are the guys that's bringing the money into the company. And you got the rest of, the mid-carders, as it would be called, that, you'll get a couple of months run on TV, then you got to come back and, go back to the drawing board. And then there's dudes that just show up and have to hope they get on TV. So it's a competition. But the one thing that I hated is the fact that you didn't know what's happening. You showed up and you didn't know, get a phone call, hey, this week you're gonna, when I was at ECW with William Regal, when I was with the Core or with Kendrick, at those times I was told, okay, this is what you guys do next week. So you knew a week in advance at least. But when you're not in that level, you just show up and hope to get on TV. You know what I mean? It's like I'm in shape, I'm ready to wrestle, and it's like, okay, do I have a match? You start Raw, SmackDown, Superstars, main event.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you kind of like that. That's the one thing that I hated is that you brought me here. I traveled here. I flew here, whatever, from my house, and I don't know what's happening. I'm just here, So that's the one thing that I disliked. It's a competition in the locker room, but for the guys that don't know, it's definitely mind-boggling. It's very wearing emotional strain. You know what I mean? So that kind of got to me.
So you would say, after those first few months at the school up there, you kind of fell in love with it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just let me ask you how you would react, or this is kind of way out there what I'm about to ask you, but let's just say you flew the TV and you don't know what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of irked your nerve, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to TV and being on the road for 9 straight months, and all you can do is just hang around the back and never get to work?
It happened for a couple of months at the end before I got injured. So it was definitely like I'm flying from the Bay Area to the East Coast. I leave on Monday evening and coming back home on Wednesday, and I get there on Tuesday, and I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? So that was like for 9 months, I couldn't see it. I'd probably go crazy. But there's some guys that are traveling weekly, day in, day out, going to TVs and not being used. You know what I mean? So, again, the way that it's set up is you got your hierarchy. You got the guys that can, is going to show up and know that they may have something to do. And then there's dudes that just hoping to have something to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the whole purpose of this thing is to get on TV. You get on TV, you get recognized. You get to hopefully get a chance to work for a title, whether it be the IC title, the US title, and then, So the whole point is to get on TV. And not getting on TV is definitely driving you crazy.
I asked that question because in 1994 when we were there, I spent 9 months going to TV taping and going to every single house show for 9 months and never even laced up the boots, never even walked out the curtain, just had to do that. It was that was the kind of environment that we worked in because of backstage politics or whatever. JTG was there and under contract for a long time, and you never saw him on TV.
I'm JTG's daughter's godfather, so I know.
Okay.
I see him at least once a week, so I know. For the last year or so, we were both, like for myself, I had surgery in 2012.
Right.
And I was cleared in January of 2013 to go back. Okay. And I sat at home until April of this year, basically, until they let my contract run out. So him and I were in the same kind of boat, but you know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. I enjoy my run. I can't, you can't take some of the things that I've accomplished away from me.
Of course.
So, you know how it goes.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Which is incredible considering, just the atmosphere and to make it on that level and not have like a family member ahead of you, In other words, you accomplished all that.
I earned it.
Right, because you didn't have a daddy, uncle, or somebody that's already had a name for themselves, to help you along. Which so many others have that. They walk in the door, getting the proverbial push, and a lot of them fall flat on their faces.
Sadly, if it's a gift, man, you don't work as hard. And I made sure the second I got signed, I told him I'm a hard worker. I was going to do whatever in my control to make sure I got to TV. And I owe a lot to Kendrick, because when Kendrick brought me up with him, I'm sure they were offering him other people. You know what I mean? And him and I have spoken, and it was like, why not go with this guy? He's like, no, I want him. You know what I mean? And so when me and him sat down and had dinner, he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, every bodyguard usually comes in all black. I'm like, I want to come in all white. I want to be, I don't want to be a bodyguard. I just want to be your boy that had your back. You know what I mean? And we went with that, and he just opened up the stuff that a lot of young guys deal with when they first go up.
Right.
Other than I never had to, and I really thank him for that, because he had my back, like legitimately had my back.
Right.
So and also I can and will rip somebody's head off if I had to. So, what I mean, you're not gonna. I'm a grown man. You're not gonna treat me like some boy.
See, that's that mentality, right, is the reason why I ended up being on TV for 9 months, because there was a situation in the dressing room where Shawn Michaels assaulted me, and I let him know in no uncertain terms, if you put your hands on me again, I'm going to kick you, and, not thinking at the time, this is the top guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is one of Vince's top guys. I wasn't thinking. All I was thinking is, I'm a grown man. You put your hands on me, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So, but that was the environment that we had to deal with. There was a lot of hazing going on, man. There was a lot of backstabbing, and it was terrible, man. But hearing you say that about Brian Kendrick, man, we are saying Brian Kendrick, correct? We are talking about Brian Kendrick. Okay.
Yeah, Kendrick. Yeah.
That's a very noble. That's very noble for that guy, because I met him once down in Memphis when he was first coming through, and with him and Lance Cade and Daniel Bryan, all them guys when they first came through there. So I am impressed just to hear that he stood up for you, because most people, man, all they're gonna do is all they care about is themselves.
Yeah.
They definitely ain't trying to help nobody else get over or So I was extremely impressed with your work. I just wondered if you guys went through the same type of hell day in and day out that we did when we were there, because we pretty much got tortured. You talk about biting your tongue and gritting your teeth. It was bad. Oscar got assaulted several times. He got his clothes ripped off of him. Just all kinds of unimaginable stuff, man, that we went through, and there was nobody that you could go to, and file a formal complaint.
I think a lot of that changed once they went corporate, you know what I mean?
Right.
But once they went on Wall Street, a lot of crap had to change. I'm sure there's stuff that still happened. I'm like a joke here and there, a little stuff like that. But within the time I was there from 2008 to say middle of last year. And, a little bit of this, some of that, somebody may hide this, but none to the extent of stuff I used to hear of people shitting in people's stuff or taking a crap in somebody's stuff or, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we never experienced that, but I think once they became a corporation, I think a lot of that meeting had to come down and be like, okay, y'all representing this company, you know what I mean? So the change of dress changed. We had to dress accordingly. We had to act accordingly. So I think that changed a lot once they went to Wall Street.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, because I had a lot of people ask questions, and I'm thinking, well, look, here's the difference. Before, it was just a privately owned company. Now, this thing is, they got stockholders, and so now they got people that's looking at you. You can't just do anything you want to when you got the government looking at everything you do.
Basically.
So, it's just like they changed the hiring practices. I mean, I don't want you to take what I'm about to say the wrong way, because you have talent, you bust your ass, you earn what you got. But do you think that had it been, say, in the early 90s, like 91, 92, do you think if we were still in that year time frame, do you think you would have gotten, the elevation that you got, that you did get? If you were to assume that you came in say 91, right? Do you think you would have gotten elevated to the level that you got elevated to if you had came in say the year 91, when they didn't have the corporate,
From what I hear, man, is like, because I got a chance, I picked everybody's brain. When I got it,
right.
I wasn't the kind of cat backstage just talking wrestling. I wanted to know people. You know what I mean? Because I get, if I get a chance to work with AA, I want to pick his brain from his, personal standpoint. Not necessarily, okay, we got this match, fine, but how did this work with you? So from what I heard, it was rough. You know what I mean? Whether you're, and it's all about one person at the time. Whoever is in charge, whether he's on TV and he's the champ or whatever, from what I'm hearing is that it was some horrible, horrible stuff to go through. So for me, myself, is my thing is, I'm going to be the nicest person you ever met.
Gotcha.
Don't mind what. But you don't want to cross that line with me. You know what I mean? So I'll take as much as I let you give me. And that's how I look at it. So would I have gotten the same thing? I have no idea. It's hard to answer a hypothetical question. But if I'm me and you, like for me, using this, even with this past my run there, I thought I could have gotten more.
Right.
You know what I mean? I looked a certain way. I was able to work a certain way. Like I'm a lot more athletic than I was in the ring, but that's because it's like, you big guy, this is what we want from you. You know what I mean? Could I have gone to the top rope and done an elbow or something? I could have, but it would take away from the fact that I'm 300 pounds of muscle. You know what I mean? So I took an approach to it of, I'm not going to do a lot of stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to beat people up. And when you see me in the ring, you're going to sit as a fan, you're going to say, like, I do not want to go in the ring with that guy. And that's the approach I took with my characters. It's like, I pick somebody up and do 2 power bombs? I could have done that. I could have done every single suplex possible because I learned how to do them. But for me, it's like, I'm going to just beat people up because nobody was doing it. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted to look fancy. I'm like, I don't want to look fancy. I want it to look like a real fight. This is fun for me. This is my career, but I want it to be different.
And that was probably what made you stand out. You know, this guy's a bad man. So, when you're a bad man, when people perceive you as a bad man, you got to at some point win championships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point, So, I'm very impressed. Very impressed. I think you were smart. Like you said, you talked to a lot of people. You got to know a lot of people. See, the opportunity to do that for us wasn't there.
Oh wow!
When we went in, veterans, for the most part, didn't have conversations with rookies like that.
Wow.
The best you could hope for, is maybe ask somebody, like an Undertaker, for example. He was like real cool. You could go to an Undertaker and say, hey, Taker, if you're not busy, can you watch our stuff and give us some feedback when we come back?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that because he was a leader like that.
Yeah.
If you went to somebody like somebody like Shawn Michaels, that would never happen. If you could have gone to somebody like a Bret Hart, and got that feedback, but somebody like and Shawn was one of the top guys.
Yeah.
You just you could have gone to somebody like a Bam Bam Bigelow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the problem with Bam Bam at the time when we were there was Nelson was bigger than Bam Bam, number one, and Nelson could do some very impressive stuff. And walking in the door, just like Vince Russo said to us, Nelson was a huge threat to some of those guys. Wow. So to think that they're gonna give you advice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow, man, did everything in his power. I mean, verbally or whatever, he did everything in his power, man, to try to destroy what we had going on.
Wow.
I mean, just on his word alone, we got fired. Like, I don't know, how long have we been there, Oscar? The first time we got fired?
About 3 months, maybe 2.
About 2 or 3 months.
Really?
But we came out of the ring, and Bam Bam told me and Nelson used to do this combination move where I'd shoot the guy off, drop toe hold. Nelson would catch him with a big leg drop. Mm-hmm. And we had Yokozuna was a champion at the time, and the big leg drop was like one of his moves. And so when we come to the back, Bam Bam said, Nelson, he said, you can't do that leg drop. He said, that's Yoko's deal. And all Nelson said to him was, man, that's just the combination move that we do, that we've been doing. We did it when we tried it out. Vince told us not to change a thing. That's all Nelson said. Well, by the time we got to White Plains, New York the next day, Bam Bam done told Vince we were disrespectful. He tried to give us some insight, and we totally ignored him. And Vince, pretty much let us go.
Wow.
He's like, and he said, he tried to beat around the bush, and he said, you know what, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He said, I'm going to tell you the guys honest truth. He said, the guys that y'all work with are a bunch of pussies. He said, they're afraid to work with you. They don't know anything about you. Because Nelson and I used to just come in, find out who we were working, talk to them, go work, come back, thank them, get dressed, and go about our business. We didn't hang out. We didn't, couldn't do that, man. You couldn't do that. So it made for a very hostile environment, and so I was just wondering, if it was the same when you were there, so.
Like, for my first, it was really cool for people like Taker, Triple H, and even like Big Show took me on like a little brother to work to help me out. You know what I mean? Right. Like Taker, I would come in early to shows and work with Taker and Big Show, ask them to watch my match, and they would. So it was really cool for me. I guess it's, again, maybe they saw something. Maybe I impressed them. Maybe, you know what I mean? So again, like I said, the difference in time, the aspect of it changed a lot of people. But not to say there weren't people that were douchebags backstage. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, you're gonna find them in every aspect of it. But they treaded lightly, I guess, with me because I'm, I got the best smile in the world. But please, you don't want to, you know what I mean?
I got you. And so they were the same way. They were the same way. They were the same way with Nelson. They didn't try Nelson. Now, they would try me or Oscar, but after they tried me the first time and found out that, I wasn't going, then they never tried me again, so, but, I just, when I tried, it's good to know that things like that have changed, because I try to tell young guys all the time, especially young African Americans, look, you're walking into a snake pit.
Yeah.
Walking into a snake pit. So tread lightly. And what you do is, once you get there, is you find somebody, to latch on to, to try to get to be a mentor or something. Because, I tell people all the time, if Nelson and I had a mentor, we would have had a long run.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that mentor. And it's like we had to learn things on the fly, and some of the lessons that we were learning, we were making mistakes in between.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your contribution to the business. For other young talent that's coming up, I think that they could listen to how you approached it, and they can learn something from it. Approach it from the standpoint of trying to get to know the guys. Not going in there with an attitude of you already know everything and you don't have anything to learn from anybody, and So I think you got a real good message for young guys that's coming in the door, because, man, and the beautiful thing is you're not poisoned by the crap that goes on the indie circuit, man. Because let me tell you something, it is the worst place to be, the indie circuit. The indie circuit, to me, would be like for Michael Jordan to go on a playground and play a pickup game. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan, I used to hear Michael Jordan all the time say he don't play pickup games. Because when you play pickup games and you're playing against guys that are no competition, you know what I mean? That's not gonna play, with any kind of skill to win or anything like that, you pick up bad habits.
Yeah.
And it's very hard in this business to be successful if you got a lot of bad habits. So that's probably a beautiful thing that you're doing by not doing any independent stuff.
Like I do some stuff. It's the thing is like there's a few dudes out there that I definitely want to wrestle that I never could have wrestled in the WWE. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like if it comes up that one of these guys on my list comes up that I can go work them, I'll go work them. If it's like this, I tell people when they ask me about wrestling, I was like, send me a link or something like that of this person that you want me to wrestle. Study them and know who I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? I'm not going to show up and say, okay, I'll wrestle you, because I heard way too many. Because I would knock you out in the ring and cover you and then walk out. And that would be the match. You know what I mean? So it's for me not to get there. Send me who you want me to work. Send me a YouTube link or something, and I'll watch it. I can create a match with somebody, anybody. That's the one thing I pride myself of, is that I study this. I love this business. I study matches. I watch ton of matches from Japan to old school to new school. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of stuff out there that some of these guys are doing way too much just for $25. I'm like, I'm like, you know, and the thing is, I did one, like I said, I did one match in Pennsylvania, and these guys did so much stuff. I'm like, did you earn that? You know what I mean? Is that worth it for you? You know what I mean? So, but some of these guys, that's all they know. No, they don't care about the psychology. They don't care why they're doing something other than the fact that they can. And, you know, but I'm saying I see some talented dudes, you know. This past weekend I went out to Pro Wrestling. I had a signing out at Pro Wrestling Syndicate. And
they got some talent up there.
They got some talent, you know what I mean? So it was like, I haven't gotten the chance to see everybody, but, you know, if somebody piques my interest, I would try to look them up and see what they're doing, you know. So it's And, you know, they say some of the best players never made it to the NBA.
Of course.
You know, being from, I lived in Harlem, and people used to talk about Earl the GOAT. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
So I try to give everybody a shot, man. I tell people I'm a fan of wrestling. I'm going to watch TNA. I'm going to watch ROH. I'm going to watch Japan. You know, I get fans that send me, hey, can you watch my match? You know what I mean? Critique me. And if I have the time, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying that I know everything, but my approach to wrestling is violence. I'm like, if it looks real and you're safe, that means you did your job. You know what I mean? That's my approach to it. And I tell people, if anybody asks me anything, I'm like, if what you're doing looks real, if a fan think that they could get in the ring with me, that means I didn't do my job.
Right.
And that's how I look at it.
Gotcha. I got you. It's about the same philosophy I have whenever I do clinics. You know, I tell guys, I said, listen, if it's not realistic, you know, if you're not going to make it look realistic, and if what it is that you're doing is not realistic, then don't do it. Just don't do it. I mean, if you can't convince that person sitting in that very front row that you knocked the stuffing out of somebody, you know, because you throwing this weak clothesline to somebody's midsection, you know, then don't do it. But I think you got an excellent approach to this. You know, that you're not the type of person that sits back. See, you know, I'm sure that you met some people that spent a lot of time in the gym and they look like $1 million, you know, and that's as far as it gets. They look like $1 million. They don't study. You know what I mean? They don't sit around and look at matches from Japan and you know they don't try to study the game. They just think, well, man, you know, when you look this good, you don't have to do that. You just all you got to do is just show up. Yeah. That's the wrong philosophy to have, correct?
Yes, it is. It's man. Again, I attribute the fact that these guys that didn't have to do it for me. You know what I mean? For my first European tour, Triple H and I worked out together like 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
First Mexican tour, Triple H and I worked out. I could sit and watch matches with them and listen to how they talk about matches. I didn't have time to be, you know, to be worried about whatever. I took the time to sit and listen while they were talking. When somebody else was in the ring, I would ask them. I was like, "So did that make any sense doing that?" You know what I mean? And then you learn from people like that. When you got a chance to sit and talk to Arn Anderson or William Regal or Dean Malenko, Ricky Steamboat, you know what I mean? You get a chance to talk and ask these questions. You do, and a lot of guys didn't. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's a art that's missing. Really, it's like, okay, just because I can do 10 moves in the ring, I'm going to do all 10 of them in this match. I'm not, no. You know, so it's a different approach. I think I've always been a student of this game. I started watching for a long time. To this day, I sit and watch. Like, I'm not with the WWE, but I watch Monday Night Raw. I mean, I watch it live. You know, I may not watch all of it, but I watch because there's some stuff that I'm still a fan. You know, and it's. I think when you lose that approach and think, oh, I know it all, that's when a lot of people they lose it. They don't have that part of it.
And then they're not successful and don't understand why not.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, what do you think of the product today?
Say again?
What do you think of the product today?
I think they're forcing the same people down your throat. And I think there's way too many talented dudes sitting backstage that could have a spot on some of these shows. You got 3 Hour Raw, and you got a lot of talent just sitting backstage. Or when they do get on TV, they get a 3-minute match. So it's like I think they're just forcing too much people down your throat. So you really the same people down your throat. So it's like, okay, I'm going to get 30 minutes of Cena tonight. I'm going to get 30 minutes of Randy or whoever, and I get all this. Okay, now 3 hours is full. I'm like, okay, I saw them last week though. You know what I mean? You rush the girls' matches. You rush some of the matches that don't mean anything to you, but these guys are happy that they're having 3 minutes on TV. So I just think that if they open up the product and give more people TV time, I think the product would be a lot better. So you're not getting the same matches by the time they get to a pay-per-view. You've seen the same, you've seen the same match 4 times between these two guys. Now you're in pay-per-view. Like, why am I paying to watch it? I'll watch it on Raw tomorrow.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
And that's probably the reason why the network is not doing as well as it should. You know, you're not giving people anything that they want to buy. You know, so
for me, and again, if you're a real fan, all the old school stuff that you've never seen, it'd be great. But you're selling me this pay-per-view. But I saw that match last week, and I saw that match a month ago. I saw the match at the last pay-per-view. Or you're changing maybe, you know what I mean? So give the people different people, different matches, and they can understand that. I look forward to the days when, I look forward to SummerSlam in '92 because, even the Mountie and the Boss Man didn't touch each other until that match. Or Hogan didn't touch Macho Man until, you know what I mean? So it's like, but now every week is a pay-per-view. Every week. So you can't really, it's a lot to live up to.
Right. Just like with Daniel Bryan, when they finally decided they were going to give the title to Daniel Bryan. Every week, I want to say for 4 weeks straight, Daniel Bryan wrestled 4, maybe 5 matches a night on Monday Night Raw. It was like the whole show. He was like the whole show.
Yeah. Because he put on with a simple word, yes.
Yeah. It's just,
you know what I mean?
Wow. I hope he was well compensated for all that. Because he single-handedly carried Raw for like a month and a half.
Going into Mania, I remember that.
Yeah. And now he's laid up.
Recovering from a bad neck. And that's the thing people don't know about this business. You do all this stuff. Like for myself, I've been injured twice. I've had 3 surgeries, you know what I mean? So, but I'm like, you got somebody that could do as much as Daniel Bryan, and he gets injured. Or you got somebody that do limited stuff and just get injured. So this business, that's, when you go to people who talk trash about this business, I'm like, please don't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Please. I was on crutches with a torn quad, and this lady, I thought this wrestling was fake. I was like, can I hit you with my crutches, please?
Yeah. You just get over and just give me your back. Let me see what your C3 and C4 feel like after this crush hit you. So,
yeah.
There's a report, guys, coming out just now that Vince has said that no one who is on the cast of Total Divas can hold the WWE Championship. I guess the Divas are really frustrated right now because the championship keep going back to the same place. They keep giving it to AJ Lee, I guess, in hopes that CM Punk will melt down and come back because she's treated so well. And everybody else who's getting the Divas Championship, to me, they don't deserve it. What do they need to do with these girls to elevate that situation higher, or do they need to scrap it all together?
So for the Divas division, they got to let them girls wrestle, man. Give them time. You know what I mean? Some of them matches between, you got Naomi, who can, holy crap, that chick is more athletic than anybody I've ever met. You know what I mean? You got Natty Neidhart, who can, that's from the dungeon of training. You got, AJ Lee, and you got at least 3 or 4 good, pure wrestlers, but they're still only given 3-4 minutes at night. You know what I mean? To wrestle. So until they finally, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, until you give them some real time, You know, because some of the best matches I've seen has been between girls on house shows in Europe, and they finally get a good solid 8 to 12 minutes to wrestle. You know, you can see the matches when Michelle McCool was there, like her and Layla teamed up against Natty and whoever, and you just have some awesome matches, and they're not gonna get that time on TV. You know what I mean? They may not even get it on a pay-per-view. They may get 8 minutes on a pay-per-view. So time restraint, I think, cuts the women down. But again, some of the girls just are not ready yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
To carry a solid 8 to 10 minute match. So it's one of those. It's like a catch-22. You got a few that can, and you got some that can't. So it's like, what do? You know?
Yeah. What about? Okay. Here's a prime example. What about, like, say, Alicia Fox?
Mm-hmm.
Now this girl can work. This girl was a champion for a long time. I mean, for a long time. How do you take somebody that was a champion for that long period of time and that can legitimately go in there and work? I mean, the girl can work her tail off, and then all of a sudden, you know, she's just doing jobs for everybody. She's not getting any kind of push, no nothing. She's just doing a job.
And sadly, it happens with too many people. You know what I mean? I'm like, you have Ziggler, who was a champ last year.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? That was doing jobs for the most part of this year. You got, you know.
Sandow.
It's Sandow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a Miz guy now. So it's like, I think it's just a matter of, maybe you have to be in good graces with somebody. Maybe you need to have a best friend. You know what I mean? You may need to have a buddy that's got your back no matter what. You know, so it's sad that it's one of those things where, you know, you have talented people. You know, I think one of the most talented person they let go this year was freaking Drew McIntyre. I'm like, how do you let 6'5", long-haired, very good-looking, great worker, how do you let him slip under the rocks? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think it's whoever they're choosing to go with for the time, that's who they're gonna go with.
Well, we're never gonna. I mean, we could speculate on what the formula is for great wrestling all day long, but at the end of the day, they're going to go with who they're going to go with, and they're going to go with what they're going to go with. So all we can do really is sit back and watch and maybe do our fantasy matches. Ezekiel, what you got coming up? What movie you working on? When can we see you? Can we see you live? Come on, we need to see you. What's going on, man?
Currently, I'm, just getting ready to work with these people out here in LA. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be talking about it yet. But it's Lucha Underground. It's the Lucha Underground out in LA here.
Right.
And like currently, I got a couple of commercials running. One for Buffalo Wild Wings. The main thing is like I've been focused and it's getting my website launched again. It's www.physique, PHYSZEKE.com. Everything I do everything is physique right now. With my Instagram, my Facebook is Physique Jackson, my Twitter is Physique, and I'm working on relaunching my website this weekend, which is focused on helping people find a new them. You know what I mean? I'm a trainer. I've always been a trainer. Gotcha. The problem is that I can't train everybody in person. So from my website, I can sit and I can study whatever. Once you answer my questions, I can study your body and I can help you. I've been training myself for 20 years. I have a degree in exercise science or exercise physiology, whichever you want to call it. And, that's my focus now, man. Right now I'm just enjoying being home with my family. I got two kids that loves wrestling way too much. I got a wife that she's enjoying the ride. We all just doing what we're supposed to do to make sure everybody's enjoying it, and that's where I am right now.
Well, good, man. Sounds like sounds like you're happy, you're content. You're not, sitting around thinking, well, the spotlight's off of me. What am I going to do next? I think that you probably did your mama proud finishing school, and I'm sure by finishing school, getting that college degree, it also gave you that mindset of, that wrestling is not the only thing I can do.
For me, it never.
So many of us, so many wrestlers out there, wrestling is all they can do. That's all they know. They don't have anything to fall back on.
I got way too much more to offer this world than just to, be on TV. So the opportunity came. It's a time and season for everything. That's been my scripture this year. It's a time and season, and my season with the E came, and I had a blast. And it passed. So now it's like I'm not gonna sit grieving on that. It's time for what's new for this new season. So I'm excited for the new season. Mainly for me is enjoying my family.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, that to me that is I never thought about it in those terms as far as the season goes. You know what I mean? But hearing that it definitely gives me another sense of not gonna sit around and dwell on yesterday any longer. You know what I mean? Or dwell on what could have been. It's time to go and make some new noise, some new memories, and do some different things.
And you guys, I remember when you guys first came out. I'm the shyest kid in the world, and I'd be running around doing the dance and just freaking enjoying it. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like you guys did. I enjoy watching Ricky Nelson as a big dude that can go. I remember. Oh crap! That's probably my wife calling. You guys were blessed, man. You guys did open doors for black tag teams. You let big dudes see that you can actually go in there and have fun. Wrestling is fun, but you can do stuff. So it's like I enjoyed my time there. I enjoyed it. Could things have been better? Yes, but it could also have been worse. So I'm at that point where it's like, I'm not going to carry tomorrow with me today. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, I can't carry yesterday with me today.
Gotcha.
So, but
you know what? I don't really know you. But just listening to you, whatever, from one worker to another, from one African American to another, I just want to tell you I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of your accomplishments. I'm sure that your mama's proud of you, and your family, your wife, and your kids are extremely proud of you. And man, just keep your head up, keep pushing on, because just listening to you, I think that the best of the Zeke is yet to be seen.
Oh,
that's just my personal opinion.
I got, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff working on, but the not the part with the body, but more so the stuff that's in my heart. You know what I mean? So God placed me here for a reason, and I'm trying to align myself. I'm trying to align myself to receive whatever blessing He has for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is the way to look at it. That is exactly what it is. And God bless you with all your accomplishments. If you need our help for anything at all, don't hesitate to call on us. It's been an honor, man. I mean, I followed your career. I want to thank you for coming on and coming out to talk to us. And we're going to revisit again real soon and see what's going on. We love you, man, and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Very appreciate it.
All right, man.
Take care.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
incredible, man.
That was a class act right there.
Yes, sir. Yes. Top to bottom. Yes.
That was definitely a class act. That was a good interview. Mo, you did a good job asking the right questions and got him. It's a thing to contrast between the 90s when we were there and hearing somebody talk about, the difference, in the 2000s era, the after the Attitude Era, how things went, somebody that could witness the metamorphosis from the generation era, the attitude era, to when it became a corporation, and then they can tell us exactly what the atmosphere was in the back, how things changed, how things got cleaned up. That's information that I appreciate, because I love to hear that. That somewhat they had to clean up. Somebody came and put the hammer down and made them clean up their act somewhat. So that's a good thing.
Well, what's impressive about it to me is just the fact that here's this guy, and you wouldn't have even thought this, but here's this African American guy that got from our standpoint a huge push, Intercontinental Champion, ECW World Champion, from our standpoint, and but then you hear him talk about how he was taken under the wing, with how he worked out with Triple H, and
right.
How he worked out with Taker and even Big Show. You know what I mean? Whereas Oscar, like I know that is really just kind of unheard of. You know what I mean? That to me that was surprising. I was surprised to hear that. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I just want to let you know that number that you mentioned to keep an eye out for, I'm bringing them on the air now.
Okay.
Hey, Mo, let me ask you a quick question. I've been getting correspondence from a guy named Bill A. Poor Jr. Do you know who that is? Because he said that right now he's preparing contracts for me and you to fly out to do a signing at his memorabilia store in March. Can you shed me light on that for us?
That's the guy that that I was telling you about. That asked the question about the whole Cassandra thing. You know what I mean? So I'm with it if you're with it. It's just when he approached me, he was like, "Is this gonna be okay?" He said, she's talking about a lawsuit, and he's like, "I'm an honest man, and I don't want to, get my business caught up in or whatever." So.
Well, I just heard from about an hour ago. He didn't mention nothing about that to me whatsoever. He said he wants to move forward, have his son drop the contract. I don't know the specifics of the deal. He probably talked to you more than he talked to me. He said that he would pay out.
You know what? He just mentioned that he wanted to do it. He just mentioned that he wanted to do it, and he mentioned he wanted me to help him get other people too. Then like the next day, that whole the Sandra thing hit the internet, so so that's you talking through it and whatever, and then you just relay it to me. But just make sure that that the financial parts of it are good.
All right, we need to get on the same page and discuss what the financial part is.
We'll do that some other time. My brother Dion on the line.
What's going on, big brother?
What's up, man? How you?
I was just sitting back listening to the whole thing, and I think it was, Big Zeke did a fantastic job, and he kind of inspired me,
Yeah, man. Say hello to Oscar, Dion.
What's happening, Oscar? This is Dion Hall.
Dion, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man, down here in South Carolina.
Good. So what was your full take on Zeke there, Dion?
I honestly think this guy's genuine, man. He didn't pull any punches, and he made a lot of sense when he said, he likes his stuff to look real. And that's what's wrong on the independents these days. These guys are doing a lot of things that's unrealistic, and me as being a 21-year veteran and trying to tell them, look, man, kind of calm down. This business is about longevity. They don't want to hear that, Bobby.
Right.
They don't want to hear that at all,
Right.
I mean, they're gonna hurt themselves, and in 10 years from now, they ain't gonna be worth nothing.
Prime
These are young guys.
Yeah, man. Prime example. Saturday night, I was at an event here in Tennessee, and this kid that came and tried out to work one of my shows a couple years ago. He was working this show, and he's gotten so much better. And he did this one spot where two guys went outside the ring, and he hit the other rope, and then he comes flying over the top, and he does like a gainer in the air, man. You know what I'm saying? Before he lands on him. Well, he overshot him, and he just barely caught the body of one of the guys. The other guy was just totally out of the way, and he hit his head on this table where I was sitting, which was ringside. Luckily for him, it was one of those plastic tables.
Wow.
And after the match was over with, he came to me and said, "Man, what do you think?" I said, "Bro," I think you're going to kill yourself. I said, "Listen, man," I said, "that move that you just did where you flew over the top rope like that," I said, "Man, that's something that you save when it counts." He's like, "Did it not count in?" I said, "Bro, is there anybody in this building that can sign you to a contract?" He's like, "No." I said, "No, it didn't count." I said, you going out here and you doing all this high flying explosive stuff. I said, and when the time comes for you to get a tryout or something, your body's gonna be too banged up. Your body's gonna be too banged up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, man, do you young folks not learn anything from Evan Bourne? You know what I mean?
They don't. You try to tell them, man, and they just. When I came up, even to this day, I still listen to somebody that could tell me something.
Right.
But these guys, they got it in their head. They know everything, and they don't know nothing.
Right.
I've done Terry Funk seminars. I've done Ricky Morton seminars, and these guys are trying to tell them, how the game is played, and they'll listen to them right there, but they'll do the seminar during the day, but that same night, they do that show, and they forgot everything they've been taught.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got guys like Terry Funk. These guys are not going to be around forever. So when you get that knowledge broken down to you like that from him, you got to cherish that stuff.
Right. But we're just talking about a generation of guys, man, that spot monkeys. It ain't even about psychology. And what they don't realize is, man, that stuff is not what sells tickets, man.
No, not at all.
That's not what sells tickets. What sells tickets is when a babyface, can go out there and work a heel, and the heel is beating the babyface so bad that it's got the fans out there crying or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they ready to pay money to come back next week, hoping that babyface gets that heel back.
Look, and just for the record, I never learned psychology until the day I met you.
For the record.
Because you took me to school, Jack. You took me to school.
Well, I had quite a few teachers myself, in this business. But before we go any further, Felix?
Yes, sir.
Felix there? And you want to go ahead and go to a commercial break real quick?
I can do that.
Okay. And we'll be right back.
All right. Back in just a moment, guys.
Okay.
Hey, Doc, my feet are killing me. The pain, the swelling. I'm not sure I can take much more. I don't walk. I wobble. I can't remember the last time I danced. It's even hard to stand. What's the problem?
Well, first you should be screened to determine if you're diabetic. Did you know that 25.8 million Americans have diabetes? Diabetes affects the feet, which is why it's very important to have regular foot evaluations. Here at Freeman Foot Care, we are trained to do just that. So come on back. We'll have you dancing in no time.
Okay, sounds good.
Great. Please give us a call at 219-882-2000, and we're conveniently located at 650 Grant Street, Suite 4, in Gary, Indiana.
WWF figures. They got real wrestling action. These our man shows everybody's got a price. The American Dream will put you to sleep. And Hacksaw's gonna cut you down. Ooh, he'll pay for that. Plus, watch Hogan with my new Macho Master. Man, Hulkster's gonna put the squeeze on you. And now you're taking the ultimate punishment. That's it, buddy! Popcorn, all of ya! New WWF figure so close to the real thing. Like being in the ring.
Just thought I'd add another little spice there to the commercials.
I love that. I love that.
To sound more and more like a real show.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Well, Dion, you still there, Dion?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm sure that if you're like another 92.75 million Americans, and in this country, I'm sure you spent some time on the internet and on Facebook this week. Am I correct?
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Okay. So what seems to be the hot topic on Facebook this week?
That hot topic on Facebook has got to be that Cassandra Frazier, man.
Okay.
My thing, I'm just going to give you my point of view about it.
Okay.
My point of view is this lady she done ran out of money. She done ran out of whatever money was donated to her, and now the only person that she can get to and pick on about money is you. That's what it's all about. When the money started, my gravy train left here in February.
Right.
And that man treated that woman like a princess.
He did.
And she can get on Facebook and put her pictures online, and all these guys commenting on it, man. You can see right through that. Any red-blooded American can see right through that.
Right.
She's starving for attention.
Yeah.
And she don't want to go out and get a 9 to 5 just like everybody else. She'd rather slam somebody on Facebook and try to make somebody else look bad for her benefit, and that's totally wrong.
Right.
I mean, just go out and get a job, like everybody else. People have people die every day.
Well, I mean, she could always go back and dance like she used to. I mean, it's not like she danced before. Not
well,
like,
brother, the way I see her, the way I look at her on that, I might pay her to stay off that pole.
Well, honestly, I don't know if she can stay sober enough to go out there and work anyway, man.
Well, let me give you a true story that happened. This is concerning her. I contacted her, and I was trying to buy something of Nelson's just to give her some money. She was going to sell me a pair of Nelson's wrestling boots for $150. So I had a mutual friend of mine that lives in the Memphis area by the name of Danny Dollar go to her house to pick the boots up and give her the money. Well, he shows up. He says the house is all dark, and when she comes to the door, it scares him because she looks like Morticia Adams. So he goes in, and he said she kept going to the bathroom and never would go get the boots. He said he sat down in the living room waiting for her to go find the boots, and the little bulldog that they have, he had one of the boots in his mouth. So Danny Dollar said he stayed there for an hour. No boots ever surfaced other than that boot that was in the dog's mouth. Right. And he said finally, he just got up. He said, ma'am, I'm leaving. So he got in his car, and she come running to the car with that one boot and wanted to sell that one boot to him for $150. And he called me. I said, no, don't take it. But he said she was messed up that day. She was on something, and he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And she had Nelson's ashes out in the outhouse.
Yeah, she did. She when Rashad delivered them to her house, she put them in the outhouse. And one day she was high, and she went out to the outhouse, and she was messing around with the urn, and she cracked it. When I say she cracked it, she opened it up and spilled the ashes all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah. So, she's something else.
Yeah, she's a piece of work, man. I mean, just to go on Facebook and try to run down somebody talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. Come on, Well, we know better. We know better.
Here's what her mindset was. From the beginning. Cassandra always thought, and I say thought, not to say that this part of what she's thinking is not true, because I really don't know. But Cassandra's always under the impression that, that Nelson had millions and millions and millions of fans. And because she thought he had millions and millions and millions of fans, she thought, when the whole idea of, asking for donations to help with his funeral services, that, this big whopping amount of money would come, rolling in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what happened was, I contacted Q-Ball Carmichael because he's got a huge following. I figure if anybody's got a huge enough following to get the word out, he did. And so I contacted him and said, hey, man, of course, everybody knew Nelson passed away, didn't have insurance. We need to rally the troops and see if we can, get some donations to cover the funeral costs. Well, about a day and a half into it, man, all kinds of calls and stuff on Facebook and stuff was, people accusing me of running a scam and all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
So I immediately say, you know what, I'm not gonna go through this. I'm already stressed out about trying to figure out how to bury Nelson. So I sent Cuba a message, man, thanks, appreciate it. We got enough, to bury him, So then I pulled the request off Facebook. No, we didn't have enough. But I wanted all that negativity to stop. You know what I mean? And so through PayPal, for those 2 days, we collected $407 and like 37 cents. Well, dude, we worked with Dan and Andy Varney for years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kentucky, West Virginia, we worked. So I called Andy. I sent Andy a message on Facebook and asked, because I sent a message to GI, I sent a message to Dan, asked the guys if they would help out. Well, Andy agreed to pay $400 on the funeral. And I told him, I said, look, man, just call the funeral home and pay it that way. I said, man, because don't send it to me because I'm going to have to give it to Cassandra. And I didn't want to put no more money in her hands because every time I gave her money, she went shopping.
Right.
And I'm sitting here stressed and pulling my brain, pulling what little bit of hair I got out because she's shopping with this money instead of sending it to the funeral home to cover the cost of the funeral. So Andy agrees and Andy pays the $400 to the funeral home. Another friend of mine, Paul Eubanks, sends me a message, man, whatever you're short, he said, call me, let me know. He said, I'll pay it. I'll take care of it. Well, Andy paid $400. I got $407 in the PayPal account, right?
Mm-hmm.
$1,341 or something like that. Right?
Where's she getting this $2,450 from?
But she don't. That's probably how many Xanax pills she's taking. But anyway,
right.
So Andy's the four from PayPal. So I contact Paul and say, hey man, we're only $500 short. So Paul gets a cashier's check and he FedExes it to me. At this time, Reginald Rollins down in Texas, one of the headhunters.
Mm-hmm.
One of the headhunters sent a $100 money order. Chris Costa from New Jersey a big fan. I also sent $100 money order, and my goddaughter, mine and Nelson's goddaughter, gave me $100. So I took those cashier's check, 2 money orders, her cash, and took the money out of the PayPal account, and I gave that to Cassandra. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So of that money, she took the $900 of that money and paid the balance on the services. Okay? The church was donated by one of my buddies, Rashad. His brother's a preacher, so he did the eulogy. His wife and the church members bought the food, cooked the food, and prepared it at the church. So we ate at the church right after the services, you know. And the only extra expense, because Cassandra didn't want to use she didn't want the funeral home to make the obituary. She had a special obituary made. It's like 6 pages, you know, and that was another. I want to say that was another $460 aside from from that. So,
right.
But dude, she stayed high. She stayed high the whole time. At one point, she almost OD'd. She was high at the funeral, at the memorial service. She was high. She was high at the memorial service. You know, and she stays high, man. And
trust, I mean, Nelson would probably still be with us today if he'd taken care of himself instead of trying to take care of her and maybe support her habit, you know?
Right.
He neglected his health to take care of her.
I believe so, because he was constantly trying to keep her clean. Constantly, man, trying to keep her clean. But, you know, but what I don't understand is supposedly she got this contract from WWE. You know, she posted all this. You know, they're supposed to be taking real good care of her. You know, she told me that they were going to send her $10,000 a month. But yet I've seen her post several times where she's homeless, her and Max are living in her car or something like that. You know,
$10,000 a month.
That's the story she told.
Do some of those guys even get that up there?
No. There's some top guys up there that get that.
Well, you know I can imagine top guys, but your mid carders, undercarders, do they get $10,000 a month?
No. You know, it just depends.
But with all that being said, by honest to God truth, who did she call upon when all of it went down? She didn't call her family. She didn't call his family. She called you.
Yeah. Now, his family wouldn't have nothing to do with her. In fact, his mama called me and cussed me out when she started hearing about all the scamming stuff, right? And I had explained to her, you know, the situation, and she was like, Bobby, all you got to do is have Cassandra call me, and his mama, said she will pay for the funeral. She was willing to pay for the funeral. All Cassandra had to do was pick up the phone and call Nelson's mama and say, you know, and tell her where she could go to see Nelson's body before he got cremated. That's all his mama wanted. You know how black people are. Right. They don't believe in cremation. They believe in open coffin funerals. You know what I mean?
Right. That's right.
You know. So all his mama wanted was to fly from North Carolina to Memphis and see her son, you know, before anything happened.
Right.
That's all she wanted. To this day, Cassandra ain't called that woman.
See,
at least I know she hadn't called her prior to March the 4th when we had services. She hadn't called her.
That shows you what kind of character that is right there, you know.
You know. Her whole thing was, why am I going to call somebody that Nelson hadn't talked to in 20 years? That wasn't true. 2 weeks before he passed away, his mama sent him $2,000. He needed some money. His mama sent him $2,000 2 weeks before he passed away. Because that was the first question his sister asked me. What happened to the $2,000 we just sent 2 weeks ago? I told her, I don't know. I don't have a clue. You know. So you know, today she's trying to bury me. Tomorrow she's going to bury the Big Show and Vince McMahon and Boogie Man because you know she's already telling some incredible stories about them that she claims she's going to put in a book. You know, a tell-all book, and if she don't get millions of dollars from WWE,
wow,
she's gonna put that book out.
See, she's living in a fantasy world.
Here's the thing. This is why I wish this whole thing would stop. Nelson, I mean, when Nelson was living, there was not this kind of conflict. If Nelson had a problem with Bobby or he had a problem with me, we went at it when we was on the road. We went at it like brothers. But at the end of the day, we all loved each other. All this animosity don't make no sense whatsoever because let's say devil's advocate. Let's say Nelson told all these stories and all these stories was true. He never came out with a book. You didn't hear him doing interviews talking about Vince and talking about Mo and talking about me and talking bad about people. He did that shoot interview where he sat up there like Frank Sinatra and made himself look good, but that was the extent of it. But she has got a lot of nerve to carry it to this level. You don't know nothing about Vince. You don't know nothing about Randy Orton. You don't know nothing about these people. You are not a total diva. You are the wife of a deceased fallen wrestler. What makes you think you're an authority and gives you the right to want to bury the people the way you planning on burying them? You know nothing. Anything you say has got to be it's fabricated at best. And every time you do an interview, every time you put something in print, there are more holes in stories than New York got potholes. You need to stop. Nelson would not want this.
Exactly.
You have no right. That's what I get mad about.
Nelson, before Nelson passed away, because we had several conversations about interviews, radio interviews, and all this stuff. Because Nelson wouldn't do them. He wouldn't do them.
No,
and
he wouldn't.
I asked him one time. I said, "Man, why don't you do interviews?" He's like, "Well, first of all, they all ask the same old questions, man, and I get tired of answering the same old questions." Number one, he said. Number two, he said, "Bobby," he said, "Listen, bro," he said, "Here's what we gonna do." I said, "Okay, what we gonna do?" He said, "Man, we ain't doing no more interviews. We ain't talking no more about good or bad, indifference. We ain't having no more negative conversations about WWE." He said, "Man," "because all I want before I die," and he said this, man, he said, "all I want before I die is for Vince McMahon to put Men on a Mission in the Hall of Fame."
There you go.
That's all he wanted, man. Vince McMahon, before he died, he wanted Vince McMahon to put Men on a Mission in the Hall of Fame. And he told me that when they he went to do they just did that top 10 biggest big men in the business. When he went to do his part of that, he said that was what his conversation was going to be with Vince. When he got a chance to talk to him, you know, that's what he wanted. He wanted Men on a Mission in the Hall of Fame. That's all he cared about. Because I tried to talk him into going to TNA. He's like, no. He's like, man, when I die, I want to die as a WWE guy. And I was like, yeah, I understand that, man. I said, but you know, what's it gonna hurt now, right now, to if we can go get this TNA money, man. I said, you got bills, I got bills. You know, and he was like, yeah, you're right, man, you're right. You know, and that was the last conversation he and I had about it. And then last week, when Russo was on the show, Russo confirmed that Nelson had called him. And the day he went to call Nelson back, Nelson had passed away. Yo.
Well, I know just clear that you the listeners out there, we were all in Mississippi together, and we were all loving on each other.
Right.
I didn't see any animosity between Nelson and Bobby at all.
There wasn't no animosity. You know, it's like I said. She wants everybody to say. She put out there that Nelson didn't like me, and that's why Nelson didn't have me to his house. Well, let me just give people a little bit of insight on Nelson Frazier. Nelson Frazier was probably one of the proudest men I ever met in my life. Proudest. And when I say that, I say this. Nelson would have you believe that he's sitting on top of the world, that he has absolutely no problems, none whatsoever, be it health problems, money problems, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
He would have you believe that. He'd rather have you believe that than to sit down and say, Dion, man, I'm flat broke. I can't afford this medicine I'm taking because I'm diabetic. He died, man.
Yeah.
He died. He died. He died of a heart attack, massive heart attack, because of his diabetes. Did you know he was diabetic?
Nope.
I didn't know he was diabetic. Did you know he was a diabetic, Oscar?
No, I really didn't.
Right, exactly, because Nelson would never let anybody see any kind of weakness when it came to him, be it his sickness, be it with his money or whatever. Man, Bruh died because every dime that he had made in the past, he either spent it taking care of that female and her habits, or he spent it taking care of, his medical bills, because he didn't have insurance. And he could have got it. He was diabetic. He could have got on disability. He could have got
on Medicaid.
Right.
Yep.
And I asked Cassandra that. She's like, well, he figured, he couldn't do that because he was still resting. I was like, yeah, he could have done that. I said he might have wanted to take himself out of the ring and maybe just do, autograph signings or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because we all could sit down at a table and sign a picture. So, but here it is. He was 42 years old, but Nelson was a young man. Nelson left home when he was 18 years old, and he's been out here. He's been learning everything from the world. Because once he left home, he didn't go back home. You know what I mean? And so there were so many things. There were so many things he didn't know. So many things he didn't know. But he'd rather sit there and suffer in silence, which is what he did when he broke his arm, than to tell somebody, man, I need your help. Instead of telling me, Bobby, man, I need money to pay my pay for my insulin or whatever. Instead of doing that, right?
Yep.
Every time he come work for me, he charged me out the butt, out the wazoo. He'd rather have me mad at him thinking, dog, you my boy, you charge me, this is a benefit. Bret Hart flew to town, didn't charge me no money. But Nelson did. And I was mad about that, you know what I mean? I was mad about that. I didn't understand until after he passed away, and then I figured it out. Nelson needs that money to pay for medicine, man.
Yeah.
He needs that money to pay for when he broke his arm 4 weeks before he died, dude. He went to the hospital. They wouldn't do nothing because he didn't have insurance. He went home with a sling and some pain medication with a broke arm. Now he home, he's got a broke arm, sling, pain medication. Can't take no bookings.
Can't make no money.
Can't make no money. So he sat in his room depressed the whole time. His last, man, I bet you his last few weeks had to be miserable, man. Pure miserable. You know. And Queen Diva, you know, spends her time in her queen room shooting up and doing the stuff that she does. You know. I mean, he had to be miserable, man.
Yep.
And now she's out. Got all this crazy stuff going on the internet. I got people calling me scumbag and wishing I'd die and all kinds of crazy nonsense, man.
Oh, I've seen it all, man, and it's crazy that people pass judgment and they don't know the whole story.
Right.
They don't know
nothing. They don't know none of the story.
Right. And she's telling, and her latest thing is that I stole 6 figures from her, that I collected 6 figures through PayPal.
Hey, Mo?
Yeah.
Where's my cut?
Hey, bro. Hey, did I not give it to you when I came up for the Michael Jackson thing?
Oh, that's right. I'm rolling in it. You had so much money that you left out of here and didn't even have enough gas to get back.
Right.
Well, like I read something that Oscar said, if you had 6 figures, you would have that kidney that you need, right?
Right.
He would have a mechanical kidney.
Some. You know, some. I would. And look, if I had 6 figures, man, I wouldn't be driving the truck that I have to let the window down to stick my arm out the window to open the door. That's how I'm rolling. That's how I'm rolling with my 6 figures.
You riding dirty, ain't you, buddy?
I'm riding very dirty. I gotta let my window down to stick my arm out to open my truck door. That's how dirty I'm riding.
You ain't got no heat in the truck, do you?
I don't. That's right. I ain't even got no heat in my truck. I can't go nowhere in the wintertime.
Well, who's the real drug addict? Because you must be doing a lot of crack if you ain't even got the heat fixed in the car and you don't collect the figures.
Bruh, I'm telling you, man. Just call me Junkie Bob. That's my new handle on the radio, Junkie Bob.
Get your truck fixed when you do the crack.
Hey, Dion.
Yeah.
Dion, you know somebody down there in South Carolina that can fix my truck?
Hey, brother, bring it on down here. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
All it sounds like you need is a little heater coil.
Yeah, man. It's crazy though, man. You know. So, but she claims I got 6 figures come through my PayPal account. Dude, I've already showed 3 different people, independent of the situation, my PayPal account. And they'll verify, man. They counted it up, they added it up. I listed everybody that sent in donations, man. You know, so.
But from henceforth, Bobby, I wouldn't even put her over no more, man. I wouldn't even put her over.
I'm done with it.
It ain't even worth mentioning anymore.
No, I'm done with it.
That's right. It's not. I mean, she gonna be talking to herself in a minute because her 15 minutes. She had 18 minutes to 15 minutes, and the time is up is bit up. So I mean,
I'd actually like to see Mimi take a piece of Miss Frazier and just tear her apart. I think Mimi would love to refer a new one.
I'm going to tell y'all, Mimi Park, she had a chance to do it last night and didn't. We actually listened live to the interview that she did last night, and they came, they said they had us come on the phone, and Mimi was like, my name's Michelle, and okay, my name's Michelle, and I'm just listening. And Mimi could have took her part right then, but elected not to do it. So, yeah. She's sitting right here. Y'all tell her, Mimi, you could have got her.
She would have got cussed out, Oscar.
What?
Cassandra's violent. She would have got cussed out. She cussed my 16-year-old out.
Yeah, well, you know what? You rubbed Mimi the wrong way. Mimi may not have cussed her. Mimi would have put her in her place. Mimi ain't no joke when you rub her the wrong way, but she didn't want to get into it. And you know what? That's okay. But, yeah, Mimi had a prime chance last night to get her because we were listening to her live last night, telling them lies.
But what kind of an adult would choose such language on a 16-year-old child? You know, come on. And she gets so defensive on some of these comments that these guys make. It's like they're actually complimenting her, and she cusses them out.
That's right.
She sounded real classy on the radio last night. Every other word was a cuss word. I'm like, do you know how ignorant you sounded right now?
Right. Well, that's her. But anyway, what we got going on the program? Deion Johnson, tell us what you got going on in your career, man.
Man, I'm down here in South Carolina trying to hang and bang, trying to get every booking I can get. We wrestle there here in my hometown of Union, South Carolina, with Trans-South Wrestling the first Saturday of every month, and I'm working with Luke Gallows in Gastonia on October the 4th. He's got a big show. He's getting ready to start a promotion up called Wrestle America.
Okay.
He's got Cliff Compton. Cliff Compton will be there.
Okay.
Brand Attitude.
Brand Attitude. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you know, I've heard about this chick. You know, I've heard about this chick. You know, and I've never seen her work. You've had an opportunity to work right alongside of her. Tell our listeners what your thoughts are on Tessa Blanchard.
This young lady is going to be a star. Okay. She's very, very hungry. She works hard, and she's not taking the easy route because her last name is Blanchard. She is out there grinding, my friend. She's out. She got herself out there. She's putting herself out there. She's taking as many bookings as she can. And actually, I teamed with her last week in a mixed tag against two other girls. And, man, she did fantastic. I ain't got nothing but praise for Tessa Blanchard. Look for her to be signed around next year, this coming year, if not sooner. Okay. I mean, she's very, 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 very humble. And if you guys can give her some bookings or talk to her, she's thirsty for knowledge.
All right.
You know, you would think that with her father being Tully Blanchard and her stepfather being Magnum TA, that she would have all the knowledge she could have. But, man, she listens to everyone. I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. And she soaks it all in. And she's got a great trainer in George South there at the Hot Spots Wrestling School there in Charlotte.
Right.
Man, she's there every Tuesday and Thursday. She's the first one in the ring and the last one to leave.
Right.
She's awesome, man. I ain't got nothing but praise for her.
Good, man. Good. So is business good there in South Carolina?
Well, that old athletic commission is acting crazy now. They went up on all the fees, and in the middle of the year didn't tell anybody. So everybody's trying to go down there and have meetings with them. So hopefully by the end of the year or the beginning of next year, they'll be able to change them and so it make it affordable for us wrestlers and promoters to run shows and give somebody some good quality entertainment.
Gotcha. Well, 21 years in the business, you say you worked with Tessa Blanchard last week. When was the last time you seen Black Patch?
Man, Black Patch has been gone about 10 years, man. I started to bring him back out. But I'm ready for that Harlem Boys reunion. That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah, it's getting about time for that, It's about time for the regulators to mount up.
That's it. Stop signing on.
Stop signing on. We get past. We done got past all this this unnecessary drama. So now it's time to lace the boots up again and go do something.
Oscar, did Bobby ever take you when y'all were in Memphis to the Admiral Bimbo?
No, I never took Oscar to the Admiral Bimbo.
Well, be thankful, my friend.
You talking about a crack hotel?
Like someplace I can go.
You want to go to a crack hotel? Yeah, that's where everybody went that came through Memphis, the Admiral Bimbo. Yeah. So those were great times.
Those times, man, were the greatest. I mean, we were traveling 10 hours, mind you, and after working 8 hours in a mill and hopping in the car and driving 10 hours and to be at TV at 8 o'clock in the morning, man, those were some great times. I learned a lot in the car.
The worst part of the trip was going through Douglas, Georgia.
Yes, that's right. and getting stopped by the popo.
Right.
And somebody telling me, "Cat, get rid of everything you got."
Cat, throw your stuff out the window. Shut up, Perry Jane. Cat, throw your stuff out the window. Man, we used to try to figure out ways to bypass Douglas, Georgia, man. There's always police stops somewhere down through there, man.
Always.
Crazy, yeah, just crazy. But, there's nothing like the road, right?
But, yeah, I was talking to Perry James, a couple of days ago. I said, man, we did a lot of traveling. I said, we would leave and drive 10 hours to Memphis and then another 6 to 7 hours just to make the main event somewhere in Kentucky, going around those mountains. I said, man, we supposed to have been there by now.
Right. But, Lord blessed us to still be here, so that means we got more work to do.
He sure did, I'm telling you. Because coming around the mountains,
got more work to do.
Half sleep, we've got a purpose here.
Yes, sir. Hey, Oscar, why don't you tell Felix and our fans what we got going on in the Indiana area?
What we got going on in the Indiana area, guys, it is really exciting. Mo was the architect to the Bully Bash and Bully Mania situation. He's been working real hard. He's been doing presentations down there in the Mid-Atlantic area, all throughout Tennessee. Well, we have expanded that situation. We are going to start the program up here in the Indiana area. We have a funding and sponsorship meeting with the police chief of Gary, Indiana, coming this Monday, as well as next week. We're going to meet with the sheriff and with the superintendent of schools. We're going to line up a bunch of schools in the area, pretty much all of them, the way the chief was talking, and we're going to do our bully program in every school in the district over several counties throughout the 2014 through 2015 school season. So that program has really taken off. Our church, Progressive Church, with our pastor, Curtis Whitaker, we are partnering with a 501c3. He's been real instrumental in helping us get this off the ground. In addition to that, Dreamy has been in constant contact with Dr. David Reese because we are structuring our proposal to get our initiative for our wrestler support group and our series of conferences going on. We are going to submit that to WWE Talent as well as the other sponsorship conduits that Dr. Reese has, and we're going to get that off the ground. So the latter part of 2014 and 2015, we are moving in a positive direction. We are getting people behind us despite all the negativity that's going on, despite all that Satan is trying to do. God's work will be done. We are going to flourish, and we are going to make a difference.
Right.
I don't think I could have said it any better.
Yeah.
Well, just on that note, I never thought bullying I never thought about it like that until it hit home here recently we had a young lady, one of my classmates that I graduated high school with, her daughter ran away, and she was gone for 2 or 3 days, and luckily, by the grace of God, she was found and she was okay. But they asked her why did she run away, and it came down that she was being bullied at school.
Yeah.
And
right.
When I heard about it, and I actually went and talked to her mother, and I told her, I said, well, I've got someone that you can talk to that can help you out with this, and she finally went and got some counseling, and they talked to the schools, and some of that's got to become. We need to really come down here and hit the South with that, because I never knew it was a big problem like it was,
Yeah.
until it hit home.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the school system. Let's just say you got 6 classes in an 8-hour day, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any time. Any free time allocated, for outside programs to come in and do presentations. I pretty much, with a program that I was doing over here, we're talking about the program is structured to last about 1 hour and 30 minutes. I pretty much, to get in this one school over here, had to take an 1 hour and 30-minute program and condense it down to 45 minutes. What they did is, with the 6, 7, 8 classes that they have, they took 5 minutes off of each class. That was all they were willing to do, is take 5 minutes off of each class.
But I've been reading. You got kids that's actually killing themselves because they're being bullied.
Of course. We before I left Franklin, we had 6 or 7 in like a 2.5-month period. One of the kids walked in the band room in front of the whole class and hung himself.
Wow.
And it's just it's a growing epidemic, man. And school administrators really don't know how to handle the situation, and they really don't know how to discipline somebody that's been accused of being a bully, because they don't want to throw anybody out of school. Because here's the thing. You have to look at it from 2 standpoints: the person getting bullied and the person doing the bullying.
Right.
Well, the person doing the bullying needs just as much therapy as the person that's getting bullied. There's a reason why this person is doing the bullying. He might just be that mom or dad is treating him bad at home, and so he's lashing out of school at somebody else. You know what I mean?
All right.
There's always underlying reasons why people do stuff. My biggest thing whenever I do a presentation, I show a 3-minute video clip of babies. We're talking about 1-year-olds, a 3-minute clip of 1-year-olds in a playground playing together. And then I ask the question, tell me how this 1-year-old turns into a racist or a bully. Because they're not born that way, right?
No, they're not.
Right. Parents have to watch what they teach their kids. They have to watch what they let their kids watch on TV or the music they listen to. They have to be careful of who their kids hang out with. You know what I mean? They got to do a better job of working with their kids at home, man.
Yeah,
a kid is not born a racist, man. You put babies on the playground all day long, and they're gonna play, and they ain't gonna be fighting and trying to kill each other. And it usually starts, that racism and that bullying and all that stuff usually starts around about the 3rd grade.
Let me tell y'all something. Today I was on my job where the job is we make calls to sell insurance. We making calls, and this young lady called the house out in Texas. Now, we here in Indiana. We call a house, and a kid picks up the phone. This kid is 3 years old. The lady asked the kid how old he was. He was 3. This 3-year-old was on the phone. He was home by himself.
Wow.
Home alone. We wound up keeping the kid on the phone till we contacted the police department in that town in Texas, and the kid stayed on the phone till the police arrived. Now, that was a very scary and telling story. That's how bullying and that's how these things start, because some of these parents don't have a clue. Some of these parents are horrendous. Who is going to leave? Who? I would love to talk to or see the parent who leaves a 3-year-old in the house by themselves. Now, hopefully, nothing bad happened to the mama or the daddy or whatever.
Yeah.
But bar that, you got a lot of trifling parents out there that will do something just like that. Leave a kid in the house and thinking ain't nobody gonna find out.
Well, here's what happened though. Here's what people are not seeing. Oscar, Dion, Felix. Correct me if you guys think I'm wrong. But here's what society is not seeing. When I came up as a child, my mama, when I was 6 years old, my mama was 46 years old. My mama was a grown woman. Been through stuff, right? Now what you got is you got 16-year-old boys, right? And their mamas is 26 years old.
Correct. Yep.
You got babies raising babies, and that's what's happening, because you got these older parents whose child got pregnant, and so instead of the parent trying to help the child through it, the parent walks off and leaves that child to fend for herself and raise this baby on his own.
I see it every single day. I'm a maintenance supervisor at an apartment complex, so I see it every day. And I try to, I have 2 kids of my own. One's a freshman in college, and one's a first grader, 6-year-old first grader. And my 6-year-old he's autistic. And my wife, she says I'm very overprotective of my 6-year-old because I see how these kids are. Right. And he's very, very friendly, and he wouldn't understand right now. He didn't understand when a kid's being too rough with him, Right. But he doesn't interact with the kids like he should because, he doesn't know right now. Right, of course. But my wife says I'm very too overprotective of him, but when he's outside, I'm watching him. I'm there, or somebody's going to be watching him. I don't want him outside by himself. With these other kids, their parents, they just leave them, let them go outside. They don't want them coming inside because they're doing their thing in the house, Right. They just throw their kids outside, okay, go play. They don't even watch them. They might cross the street or anything. They don't care. They're not watching them. Right.
When you call your grandmama Mommy and your mama Pam, something wrong with this picture. And on that note, the fastest 2 hours of radio is up. We have had another good show. We keep elevating every week. We want to thank Ezekiel Jackson for coming on. We want to thank our brother Dion for coming on and let us know that he's down there holding the South down. Mo, great job tonight. Dreamy, we wish you well. We hope you're back next week. Felix, our crack producer, you are making this show. We're going to be better than Howard Stern. So you guys, thanks a lot. Not your mama's radio show. We're going to see you next Thursday.
Real quick before we go ahead and go, I just want to thank Mo and Oscar, you guys, for your speaking your piece on this. And you're having your brother on here as well to speak his piece, because really you guys needed to tell your story, and I'm glad you were able to, not only on Facebook but also on air as well. So thank you guys for doing that.
Well, guys, I've had a fantastic time.
Thanks for allowing us. Okay.
Hopefully I can get on some other time.
Okay, man. Thanks for coming, bro. Felix.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for allowing us to, allowing us the opportunity to do that. Really appreciate it.
No problem. It's just a matter of, people need to hear your side of this and not assume that she's somebody out there trying to get sympathy for something that happened months and months ago, not trying to tarnish her late husband's memory, but, it's time to move on. She's irrelevant. If anybody gets remembered, it would be Nelson. She's going to be looked at as as a distant memory. She'll be looked at in the rearview mirror because we're just going to keep plowing forward, and she's going to get left in our dust.
All right. I want to thank those guys, Mo and Oscar, for keeping it dignified. Y'all are class act. Mo, Oscar,
man.
Y'all are class act. Oh,
yeah, that's punk Oscar. I can't stand that Oscar. Oscar,
what?
Give me a long tongue kiss for me, please.
Please,
I'll talk to you later.
Undignified. I got something to tell you.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.